Okay, so third review of the day. It's more of an update because I've reviewed this before, but this is my ESV Thinline Heirloom. All right, and I've had this one for a couple of years now, almost 2 years, and I this one it's kind of like a love-hate relationship. Like it's not really, but I really love the size. And I love just the feel of it in my hand. But like the text size, it's there. I can read it. It's very readable. I just want it to be a little bit bigger. Like this one here, this is a CSB thin line, and I can't tell if the font is bigger or if it's just a different font, because it's really hard to tell. But this one's a little bit easier to read. It's just slightly shorter on the top. I'll show you that right now. Just a finger's width. So what is that? Maybe half an inch, quarter inch, half an inch. But anyway, that's not what this is about. What I want to do is a comparison. So before, up until like maybe a month ago, I did everything. I used a micron and I underlined, but I had to use a card or a ruler so I could get it straight, and it was time consuming. But if I'm following along in a sermon or something, or just reading and I don't want to spend the time, I want to highlight. But the problem with highlighters is a lot of time they bleed through. And I didn't even want to try that on this because this is an heirloom. It's a high quality Bible. I don't want to, mess it up. So this here is a King James Windsor text. And if you're going to do King James, I highly recommend this. However, I love the size. I love the font. It's great. This is my go-to for King James. However, can't really highlight in this one. You can if you don't mind bleed through. But here's Genesis. And so that's what I was talking about with underlining. And I started using the highlighter. And this is what the other side of that looks like. This is the actual highlight. This is bleed through. That's the highlighter. Now, before you say anything, I went through and I literally, see if I can, oh, here we go. I went through each and every color that I have. Right there. That's the one side, and then I tested the bleed through to make sure which one bled through the least. And I went with the green. I tried the yellow on this because on my test it didn't look that bad, but it's pretty bad. So, moving on from there. I tried, did I test this one? Yeah, it was M. Sorry guys, I should have had these marked out, but I think it was Messiah that I tested it on. Okay, so here's my little test run of the same thing I use in the Windsor. Okay, I'm going to get a little bit closer so you can see that. And then here's the other side. Do you see any bleed through there? So just to prove a point, where's the page I got all marked up? Let's go to Proverbs. Here we go. So here I've got 3 different colors that I'm literally highlighting. Okay, I've got 3 different colors. The blue I didn't like just because it's too dark of a highlight. If I'm trying to read through it, it's too distracting. But here's the other side of that page, and yes, these are highlights. Extremely, so the blue bleeds through a lot, but there's barely a little bit of green, and I went with the orange on this side. Oh, well, that's not a very good example, because I have 2 orange highlights here. There's a green highlight, bleed through, and oh, right here is the orange highlight or bleed through. So you have the green here and the orange here. I mean, this paper, I love this paper. So I finally decided to go with the orange. If you saw my last video, that's my orange highlighter right there. And that's what I'm using. So and I've tried these same highlighters with my Skylers, and it bleeds through on those. And those are pretty expensive Bibles. This one wasn't cheap, but it wasn't Skyler expensive. So this is my go-to right now because the paper's good and it's readable, and it feels good in the hand to hold it. So that's your ESV Thinline Heirloom. So yep, Heirloom Thinline edition. Okay, thanks for watching, and God bless. If you watched all 3 of these reviews for, you know, this, and this update, thank you, and I will see you on the next one.